think for, what was it, $50 or $60, I bought Cyberpunk 2077 or something, which I probably have put 40 to 50 hours into, and I still have only gotten like a part of the way through the game. Okay, so I think you spent a little too long admiring the ship. You know, need to get those planes in the air. You want to go get that spotting done. All right, so bottom tier, there are some tier 10s, there are some tier 9s.
Fighter airborne. I need intelligence data. I need intelligence data. Engaging enemy.
It's 3 destroyers. Ooh, ooh. So once you start this attack, you can't really turn. So, I mean, you tried. Okay. You could have tried to strike the Nevsky again. Or sorry, the Kitakazi. Alright, so with 3 planes, you're not going to be able to do very much. If you go in on a Henry, you lose 1, maybe 2 planes. You shoot with 1. You go in on a Kitakazi, you lose 1, maybe 2 planes. Over here, you had like 4. You could have gone back in on the Kitakazi. Just pop the engine boost, hard turn, cut back in. I mean, you had a shot. Right now... Right, so he surprised you. Nothing much there. So, you got some information, but... So the spotting is good. Right now, you're almost 3.5 minutes into the game. Do you report the Holland for playing a Holland? Alright, so you can try to work on him. His AA is off because he's in the middle of a gunfight. He's too busy. Now he woke up. Need to lead a little more. Okay, it's gonna point out the heal, but you've already done that. Ugh. Cool, so he's down. Lost a lot of torps for it, but the Holland going down, I mean, it's a destroyer. Destroyers have quite a lot of value. So you have rockets, you have torps, you have bombs. You might be able to bomb the Alaska right here. Use some island cover to be able to find a way in. You could also bomb the Hizen.
All stations requesting fire on the
Kitakazi just showed it up. Suppose you could try to bomb the Ohio, but you're looking at the Cossack. All right. Cossack goes down. I think maybe you're just scared of being up-tiered. Maybe that's what's going on. Because you're not seeing any signs of things to interact with. I think you're just kind of like... I think you're just playing scared. Kitakazi's in smoke. You lost your Z46. Nevsky's extremely low. You could go in on the Nevsky. Granted, he's not at a good angle for you to go after. Yeah, Kitakazi AA's pretty obnoxious. Yeah, I mean, you took a lot of damage from the Kitakazi on the way there. Now to go through all of this bullshit just to try to strike him, I don't think you can do this. No. It's just too much going on. But you did spot him, so the Hizen was able to take care of him, which is cool. Bismarck is isolated. You could bomb this. Suppose you want to torp the Jean Bart. But the Jean Bart does have a Kitakazi on top of it, although you will spot the Kitakazi as you're working on the Bart.
Our team has taken the lead.
Okay. Now there's not very much for you to bomb now. Maybe you can Citadel the Hizen. Bad line. But you got a Citadel out of it. You got 3 hits even. It's pretty cool. Kitakazi advanced. You have rocket planes. Kitakazi's in smoke. So 4 seconds. You might have wanted to linger a little just to try to save some planes, because you've lost a lot. You don't have another way in. You only have 2 planes. You die here. Oh, you got 1 out. That might actually hit. Cool. And it resulted in a flood. So that's cool. Bombing the Jean Bart. Japanese AP on French stuff, extremely unlikely to matter. So you might get like 3,000 damage. You got 6, but it's not going to Citadel. Now the Hizen, you might be able to Citadel, but the Bart, no. Okay. At this point, I feel like you're just kind of striking stuff to strike stuff, which to an extent makes sense because it feels like it's the end of the match, but like this Bart's gonna have all these people on top of him. The Bart's gonna be handled. You're low on resources, and throwing resources, just throwing that stuff at the wall, like you're breaking your toys, you know? If you kept the planes alive, you got something for the Kitakaze. If you keep the bombs alive, you got something for the Hizen or maybe the Kaga. You don't have any torps left, really. But you bombed the Bart before, although it's saturated now, so it's probably only 3k. It's a good approach. 2.6. Cool, so the Bart goes down. It's a little early.
Fighter airborne.
Cool.
Fighter destroyed.
Fighters have a makeout session. You have some bombers you can work on the Hizen. Kitakaze is still a problem. And Burgoyne Henry also a problem. You guys have a lot of health though, but...
Fighter destroyed. Torpedoes dead ahead.
Hizen's down, which is cool. At this point, I think you just start fightering what you've got and try to make sure that it's going to last as long as possible. Open water bombing can be extremely tough. Henry doesn't have shit AA. Yeah, and you'll just get surrounded.
Problem solved, sir.
Oh no. Okay. So AP rockets have the ability to turn, which is good, but you need to be close enough to your target. Like the reason for your 90-degree turns is because you're going to be within 3 clicks of your target to begin with, which would be an overfly if you're just going straight. Maybe it wouldn't be an overfly, it'd be close. Maybe like 2.5 really. Basically it's to allow you to maneuver aggressively when coming in to strike from an angle. As soon as you see this popping into the attack animation, you don't get that far. So this is going to cancel out. You're going to have to find a new line. You've blown your boost in this, and you might actually lose planes while coming in as well. So that might screw the strike, but if you save your boost right here, you can 90-degree turn over this island. You can cut right, slam on the, or start an attack, slam on the brakes, cut right, and see if you broadside this guy. But because it was a slow turn, it takes too long. And you can't work on that. Kitakaze doesn't matter right now. Although his smoke is down, the Burgoyne and the Henry are working on your guys right now and are actively threatening you. This you have help with, this you do not. Granted, he's going to be able to smoke later, but like, you could torp the Burgoyne, you could try to bomb the Henry, you could rocket the Henry if you really have to, but work on the stuff that's working on you. This guy's in the middle of nowhere. He's not doing anything important right now other than pissing you off by existing. And you're gonna strike into a fighter? Like, you can't throw away planes right now. Alright, so you got torps going on the Burgoyne. 2 good hits is gonna be about 20,000 damage. That's too early. You want to get more broadside than that. He's literally angled to a Musashi. This guy cannot just like turn left, right, up and down. But he can turn in on you because he's still pointed at the Musashi if he does. I mean, you tried pulling some damage off the Musashi, I guess. But I think you go down here because, yeah. You're gonna get the rockets out to try to deal with the Kitakaze as a last-ditch effort. But I assume the Burgoyne outmaneuvers and kills the Musashi, and then it's Henry versus a low-health Vermont. Well, and Kitakaze. And potentially Burgoyne? Because the Musashi's turrets just, they're so slow. Okay. Do we have a list for AP bombs? What ship you can Citadel? No, I don't think I have a specific list for that. I might have gone over it at some point, but I don't have a specific list. You did not report the Red Holland. My DD spamming for intelligence. Ah, okay. I need intelligence data. Wish you could turn off the CV warning noises. Well. I'm gonna run the replay again, but I'm gonna try to run it from my perspective. What would I have done? And I'll just try and watch the map while I do it, as opposed to watching the play. And see if there's something else that I could figure out. Thank you for the bits. This is a game you had no plan and some bad drops. You'll rewatch again once you're home. Well, I'll try and think of how could I have played this. Right. Rockets immediately off the deck. Rockets are here.
Let's give them a hard time.
I think we get about halfway. Well, no, maybe not. So rockets would be about here by now. Drop a fighter, start heading over. So we're about 30 seconds ahead of pace. And then terminating about here at a minute. We might have seen battleships in the mid and possibly battleships over here. We would not have tripped across DDs. Okay. Bismarck, Ohio together. I don't remember what's over here. Burgoyne, we could actually hit and transfer with torpedoes and try to work the Burgoyne over while he's moving from point A to point B. Hizen is going to have cruiser and other support because this usually becomes a giant cock block over here, so that's not going to be a way in. Tripping across the Kita. When you're coming over here, you slam on the brake, cut over, and you try to hit this with a broadside. But at this point, I've probably not seen the Kitakaze or attempted to strike him once and been out with torpedoes going to the Burgoyne. So, come on. Come on. So, torpedoes are about here by now. There might be a Holland that intercepts us. We take severe damage. We veer off with a heel, or the Holland stays dark and we start working the Burgoyne. Oh, but there's a Henry there. So we probably take one drop, heal, and bail. So we got one drop because now we saw that the cruiser's there, but we may have encountered a Holland on the way. So we'll say that that's actually going to be about where we are now. What are the opportunities at this point? You've got a lockdown, blocked up island over here. There's really just not much you're going to do here, which sucks because they don't have much of a way in either. Hopefully both sides just play passive for the time being. You can come over and bomb the Alaska, which is either taking this position or we'll move up and take this position. So you have bombs that you can come over and get citadels on Alaska. You could attempt to citadel on Ohio, or you could attempt to pressure the Holland with torps, or sorry, rocket planes if you have some kind of DD support. But I think at this point, it's probably bombs to deal with the outlier stuff, the stuff that we can actually affect. So about here, we see the Holland is spotted. I'm in bombs. I'm going to continue over toward the Alaska, which has a lot of AA. You dropped this because this is spotted. The Holland actually dies. I go in on this. There's probably too much flak. I don't know. Either just take the drop or abort. Could come out in rocket plane signaling the Småland. Hey, let's go for the Holland. See if he reacts. If he says Wilco or something, we can go in and try to force a play. Let's say that we tripped across the Cossack instead. So we're going to help bully the Cossack with rockets while the Holland opens up. I don't know how this trade goes. Probably goes favorably to us because the Småland is versus a Cossack. Småland is incredibly damaged or whatever. We rocket strike the Cossack. Holland has opened up. Maybe this ends up being an attrition. Probably both of their DDs are dead. Good news is the Alaska's gone and the Iowa's isolated. We don't need rockets anymore. We recall. I'm okay with the move here. Whatever. I'd probably still be down here because I wouldn't be thinking about which flank per se. I'd want to be in a central position to affect both flanks. Now, I'm either going to take out torps for the Ohio or bombs for the Ohio because the Ohio is isolated at this point and a high value target. So recall, we've got torps. Let's try to just double speed it. Torps are coming out. Ohio is still isolated. Drop first drop. Don't have a line on the second. Use the island to loiter. Come back in. Try to strike from this angle. Probably only get 2 strikes even with a heal on an Ohio. Ohio goes down. Might have gone down earlier. Bombs for the Bismarck. German battleships extremely susceptible to bombs. Bombs are now here. Drop a fighter to keep the Bismarck lit because we don't necessarily have a DD that can see him. Cutting in, going for Bismarck. Single drop. Nobody else is over here. Bismarck AA is fairly weak. Pull left away from the Henry. Swing back in. Get a strike. Bismarck probably goes down to coordinated fire, plus hopefully double citadel bombing runs. Oland might be alive now because the Bismarck was dead. Now looking, we have a Bart split off with a Kitakazi. Don't really want to screw with a Bart because I don't know if I have the ability to take that down. Bombs are probably half or less. How many bombs do we have? We probably have about 8 bombs now, give or take. 8 or 9 bombs. Torps. I think we lost some there. Didn't use torps from another angle. Torps are probably decently healthy because I haven't used them. So torps would probably be used on the Hizen, which the Bard is folding back to. But I mean, you got to pick something. If the Henry and Burgoyne are working together, that to me is too much to deal with. So we have torps coming out for the Hizen. Bard has started to firm up with that. That's okay. We probably have a heal back up by this point because I think we torped the Ohio it was. In which case we might get 2 drops with the Hizen Jean Bard AA. Hizen is wounded. Burgoyne's running. Henry's running. Henry was last spotted with I think a lot of health. I don't know what the Burgoyne has. Probably still looking for this or maybe to update the Kita. Because I'm not sure if I can deal with a Jean Bart on top of a Hizen. So probably look for the Kita. So rockets, decision delay, rockets heading out. Rockets heading out over here, probably drop a fighter. Maybe we trip across, but I don't think he opens up to let us know where he is. We're gonna come back, try to catch this. We might end up catching a bit of a side. He pops smoke. Okay, cool. Nothing I can get there. Fighter was dropped over here because the CV is on top of this. This flank is gonna go down. It's tough choices. Bombs. What could I bomb? Nope. Not really. Not a lot of options. Torps. Probably half to a third of the torps left. Maybe the Burgoyne. If he tightens up with the Henry, there's not much I can do. We don't have a heal at this point, but the torps should have come back by the time we did our little rocket adventure. We could try to pressure the Kaga, but that seems like a lot of effort to go all the way over here to deal with this because he was spotted at some point. Probably going to be the Burgoyne, because without additional assistance, none of these are going to die. We probably go out here, see if maybe we can hit the Henry, see if we can hit the Burgoyne with some torps. Which means we're probably about here. Good thing is, as we go out further, we're eventually going to spot the Burgoyne and the Henry, and there's this big cluster of people, hopefully with an Oland as well, so that might be 5 people together. We're about here. This stuff is spotted. Drop a fighter, keep it lit, go in, either go after the Burgoyne or the Henry, whichever is the target of opportunity. This pushing is scary. Move the carrier away from mid because of that. Still interacting, probably just finished. Bombing a Bart's not going to do anything. Maybe we rocket this? Where's the Kitakazi? Oh, the Hizen is... Well, you did some damage to the Hizen. Hizen's probably still at half. Probably rocket the Bart. Torps are still coming back. My hull is running. Maybe we just kind of linger? Or maybe we keep harassing this while these guys work on the BART. But what would we harass it with? Rockets aren't gonna matter. Torps are low. Bombs are low. I don't know. At this point, it's probably a lot of indecision because there's gonna be resource issues. And it depends on how much can happen here. Once the BART goes down, these guys might actually start shooting at shit again. So if we light this stuff, maybe they take some more damage. Might be able to try to chase the Hizen if we have like 6 to 8 torps. Might be able to hit him twice because he is fairly low. I don't know. So I don't know how it would play out. I mean, at this point, there's probably a lot of variables from what I would have done versus what you did. But that's kind of what I was seeing. Maybe that was helpful. Okay. FDR nerf when? Probably not. The fighters got buffed in Commander rework at 10.0 or 10.1 or whatever. They got a speed increase as well as the Commander rework added fighter skills. So with the combination of the fighters as well as AA getting buffed in 10.1, the flak was made better. No, I don't think the FDR would be buffed. You think you were chasing damage due to spending too much on a destroyer at the start? The small one did not need help with. Should have relaxed, spent 30 seconds looking at the map for better targets. There were a lot of times where you would finish a strike and the enemy would have balled up at the end of it. So it's like, it's really awkward with the timings to try to, ooh, what's the next one? Ooh, what's the next one? Because often they were like bunkered up in situations that were extremely hard to deal with. But I think, because I was guesstimating what my timings would have been, and when I was resolving my strike or resolving a situation, it looked like there were move timings where there were still some openings that maybe we had a way in on. So it could have just been a timing issue, like that being off pace by 30 to 60 seconds might have altered the flow of how you could interact with stuff because the enemy ships had moved or, you know, shifted into positions that didn't seem assailable at that time. I think that just comes down to like human nature as far as how people are going to maneuver around and do stuff. I don't know.